9 things I wish I knew when I was creating my YouTube channel. The first item on the list: no one is interested in your videos. There are 2 categories of people who don't care. Firstly, these are your friends and acquaintances, and secondly, these are spectators. As for friends and acquaintances, when I created my first YouTube channel, I was very worried that my school friends would make fun of me. Maybe they'll laugh at my videos. I was worried people would judge me, but when I created my first YouTube channel, I realized everyone doesn't care. People have their own life, work, studies, family. Everyone doesn't care if you have a YouTube channel or not, if you make videos or not. Everyone doesn't care. They will never watch my videos because my videos are not aimed at them. They will not be interested. That's why I make videos not for my friends. Many people worry about what their relatives will think of them when creating content. Calm down. Absolutely everyone doesn't care what you will be shooting. You can absolutely calmly do YouTube. I guarantee you that at first everyone will be indifferent. The second category of people who don't care is your audience. When I started making videos on YouTube, I thought people would really be interested. 7 years ago, I was shooting a video where I was playing mobile games. Now I'm thinking about it and regret that I didn't know earlier that videos on YouTube are not free. People pay to watch your videos, they just don't pay with money, they pay with their time and attention. These are 2 currencies that are much more valuable than money. And when a beginner shoots a video and it doesn't get views, the beginner thinks that YouTube algorithms don't like it. The point is not that you don't appeal to YouTube algorithms, your video is not worth watching at all. People did not want to click on your video, they did not want to watch it because it does not provide them any value. In our era, individuals have numerous choices to utilize their time on the internet. The sole thing they desire is to obtain advantages. Regardless of whether it's about entertainment, education, or inspiration, all of these should possess some value. And if there is no value in the video, individuals will not be inclined to watch it. And if people don't click on the video and watch it, then the algorithm understands that it is an uninteresting video and it will not promote it. For beginners, this is valuable info because when I started, I thought I will shoot a video now and it will already have 100 views for sure. Actually, nobody will watch your initial videos and that is perfectly fine. At the very start, you will have a tough time shooting videos and it's a normal experience. When you make mistakes over time, gain experience, in the end, you will have a very good video. Your videos will begin to bring benefits, you will comprehend what your niche is, and then individuals will dedicate their time and attention to watching your videos. Algorithms will start recommending your videos and your channel will grow, and then at some point you will start earning well and life will be wonderful. The second point is the difference between the profession of an architect and an archaeologist. I would really like someone to tell me at the beginning of my journey that there are 2 approaches to finding a niche. The first is the approach of an archaeologist. An archaeologist's approach is finding a niche and seeing multiple videos that can be easily shot in that area. You start shooting videos on this topic, then you realize that these videos did not gain views, and in general your videos are of poor quality, or maybe you just didn't like shooting them. And then you move on to a new niche again, another new niche, another one, and so many times. And in the end, you become an archaeologist who explores several hot zones. And 100% you will shoot that very video which will give at least some result. You may receive several comments, although you have always had 0 comments. Your video will get exposure and recommendations, reach 100 views, all your videos had 1 view, and even that was you watching. It's like an archaeologist digging, finding a small bone, realizing that there is something interesting here and starting to dig further. And this means that you are shooting more and more videos on this topic. Another approach to YouTube is the architect's approach. The architect will not dig in random places. The architect possesses a plan, diagrams, he is aware of exactly what should happen. And only then, when he has the necessary information, he will hire people who will lay the first brick. No YouTube experience? Trying to approach as an architect? Likely won't do anything. Finding niche in advance is difficult. Advise beginners. Start with archaeology. Need to learn how to make videos. You need to learn how to edit, create previews, and it doesn't matter in which niche you do it. The niche doesn't matter at the beginning. The most important thing is that you need to gain experience. Dig like an archaeologist, and over time you will understand how it works and what kind of response it gives to the audience. In my case, I filmed a video about block strike, but no one cared, so I began filming vlogs instead. Everyone is still not interested. Well, then I thought Minecraft would definitely be interesting. No one was interested. However, upon the emergence of YouTube Shorts, I initiated the promotion of TikTokers on YouTube. I uploaded a humorous video. Almost no one was interested because it was the first video. Then I continued to upload these videos and people liked it. In the end, I uploaded a short video with the recipe. The audience really liked it and they asked for more videos with recipes. Then the blogger combined humor with recipes and the audience was simply delighted. And all this led to such results. Not according to plan, typical approach of an archaeologist. Kept digging, shooting videos, editing, making thumbnails. I uploaded a new video every day. Every day I worked, and despite the fact that I had important exams at school, I didn't care. I worked every day, so if many of you think until I find a niche I won't make videos on YouTube, please don't think so. Start at least with something. I guarantee you if you don't pass, you can do it. Item 3. The importance of demand and supply. Supply and demand is an economic reality, but the same reality exists on YouTube. And mostly it happens on YouTube. The more sentences of a certain type of content, the higher the bar in creating this content, the more difficult it becomes for you to stand out in it. The smaller the offer and the higher the demand, the lower the bar becomes. Now I will explain everything. I'll translate the example. Currently, YouTube is full of videos where students discuss how to prepare for exams. There is much such content. Demand is high and the bar is also high. This means that if you are a beginner YouTuber with no experience at all and you will shoot your videos just on your phone without editing, it will be very difficult for you to stand out. Based on this, you can make use of 2 different approaches. First, simply enhance the quality of your videos. Let's say I want to continue creating YouTube videos. I am aware that the standard is set at this level. I want my videos to exceed this threshold and stand out in the saturated market. The problem is it's tough to make your videos stand out in an overcrowded market. Typically, you require an unfair advantage, which I will provide details on at a later time. But another approach is not to compete in niches where there is already a lot of competition. Item 4. The importance of systems thinking. Let's go back. When I started, produce 50, 100 initial videos. Meanwhile, I pondered making 1 video at a time. So I wrote a small script, filmed a video, edited it, and only then, after completing all of these steps, I uploaded this video, came up with a title, and came up with a thumbnail image. And so constantly in a circle, and in fact this is a very exhausting way of creating videos. I advanced on YouTube when I started thinking systematically. I know that a YouTube channel is a business, and a business operates due to systems and operations. There are many people who consider YouTube as a hobby, and it's absolutely normal. I had the same thing. But if you want to consider YouTube as a business, there is what will bring in money and what will bring to people. Benefit: it is important to think systematically instead of thinking about what video to shoot today and what video tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. Consider what system you can create to make the process of making the following videos much easier. You can write video ideas, create templates for your thumbnails. By the way, I absolutely recommend everyone to make their own pack for installation. You won't have to run to 10 websites to find some sound for transition. It's very convenient. The point is that if you think systematically and treat your YouTube channel as a business, you can benefit greatly from shooting videos over a long period of time. This is one of the forms of levers of influence. It seems that with the same efforts and the use of levers, you get much better results. Especially if you are doing YouTube part-time and trying to grow your channel while you have a job. Focusing on education and leveraging systems of influence are key principles to take your channel to a new level without any costs or expenses. 5th point is headings and previews. Your video may be the most interesting in the world, but if your title and thumbnail are not intriguing to the target audience, then no one will even click on your video. And if no one clicks on your video, unfortunately, it will not get views. I regret that at the beginning of my journey, I didn't know that it's better to come up with a title and a preview first, and only then start shooting the video. As I mentioned earlier, I was thinking about the title and thumbnail at the last moment when the video was already being uploaded to YouTube. This is very inefficient because creating a video requires a lot of effort, and sometimes it takes several days. And there are videos where a person works on only one script for several days. And shooting, editing, he expends a lot of energy, a lot of effort.
Only on the last.
You could say, for 30 seconds he thinks about the title and preview. This is very bad, you can't do that. That's why I'm doing this on this channel right now. First I'm thinking about the title and preview. And only then when I come up with a title and a preview do I start thinking about the script, the video plan, and so on. I talked to many YouTubers and asked them a question: what would you like to know before starting YouTube? And absolutely everyone told me about the importance of video titles and thumbnails, because we all made this mistake. So I recommend each of you to start by thinking about the title and thumbnail and only then think about the content of the video. I'd advise you to consider who that person is with whom you'd like to watch this video. Here's mine personally. Video not for all. It is designed for people who want to grow their YouTube channel, and that's why it wouldn't make sense for me to make such a preview for this video. It would be abnormal for a training video. If this is true, write in the comments or just like it, so the preview and the title play a key role. Moving on to the sixth point, which is regarding the significance of the initial 30 seconds of the video. If title and headings were crucial, then first 30 seconds of video is second most important point. Many viewers turn off the video in the first 30 seconds. And let's say you try to work on editing in the middle of the video. At the end, you add funny jokes, 3D graphics there, but understand that many people simply won't see it. This means that the initial 30 seconds of the video, all the efforts you put into these 30 seconds, these efforts will be seen by more people. So try. Invest in these 30 seconds and then you will hold the viewer. The seventh point is that the equipment at the beginning of the path does not matter. I know many YouTubers who filmed their first videos on their phones and continue to film them on their phones. Some of them already have over 100,000 subscribers, some even have 1 million subscribers or more. For example, I want to show you this channel. The author on this channel shoots all his videos on his phone, and look at how many views he gets. Millions of views. However, if you have the financial means to invest in good equipment, lighting, and a high quality camera, then this is one of those things that will set your content apart from the crowd. But again, it all depends on your target audience. Suppose if you have a channel about a tech blog, then you need good equipment, because people like high quality videos in this niche. But if you're shooting just vlogs about your life or shooting simple recipes in your kitchen, then you don't need a cool movie camera. Therefore, there is no point in spending huge amounts of money on it, because for each type of content and audience, there is a golden mean in equipment and its cost. If you can afford an expensive camera, professional lighting, and create a cool background, then it's cool, but I don't recommend doing it at the beginning. Because you can easily reach your initial audience first view simply by shooting on your phone. The main thing is the quality of the content, not expensive equipment. Item 8. Find your unfair advantage. What is an unfair advantage? Unfair advantage is something that would be very difficult or impossible for someone else to replicate. An example is a persistent pipe, a fair advantage. Everyone can compete on the basis of labor, but unfair advantage is something that would be very difficult for someone else to use. For instance, when Poppy Playtime game debuted, I was among the first to create a channel in this niche. I began producing videos about this game, and I was among the first to have a target audience, and my videos started gaining hundreds of thousands of views. So my unfair advantage was that I was among the very first individuals to initiate shooting such content. Next, I made a channel with slimes. Since there were already big channels there, I didn't do anything interesting, so my channel didn't even reach monetization. Let's imagine that you have independently learned a certain language and you want to create educational videos on YouTube that would help people learn this language. You already have an advantage gained by learning this language. The most important thing is if you're trying to create videos in high competition, and there are currently a lot of niches on YouTube, it is important to think about how you can stand out, what advantages you have. Crucial, it doesn't matter at the start of the journey. I was discussing an architect and an archaeologist. The most important thing at the beginning is to shoot the first few videos, gain experience. Well, you already know everything if you've reached this point. But when you treat your YouTube channel as a business and strategically think about how you will grow and stand out, think about what competitors you have and what unfair advantages you have that will help you stand out from the crowd. Ninth point. Find someone to edit your videos. Doing this will give you more free time and allow you to focus better on the video's idea, creation, editing, etc. When I ran a Pop Plates channel, I didn't think I'd find that person. No one can grasp my editing style, comprehend jokes and videos. It's tough to find an installer. However, I was wrong. Upon finding an editor, I had a significant amount of free time.
I gave time to another YouTube channel, and here's the result. The channel will soon hit 1 million subscribers. Also, the Pop and Items channel earned me over $5,000. But without an editor, it would have been challenging to accomplish. Here are 9 points that I would like to know when I first started doing YouTube. And right now, stay on the channel and watch other videos. See you in the next video.